Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this online conference. My name is Santi. I am from Spain, and I'm going to give you a presentation about indication training. With this method, we basically divide the training in 6 parts. The first one is the love for the toy. So we need to make sure we find the right toy, because sometimes we try to use a toy that we would like the dog to play with, but the dog doesn't really like the toy. So for example, with this method, many people want to use a Kong as a toy, but you can see that the dog doesn't really like to play with it. This happened with Tuna, the black dog. Well, you will see her later. So when I started training her, I would just throw her the ball, try to make her to like the toy, but she would just like chase it and then just pick it up, and then after a few seconds she would drop it. So she wasn't very interested with this toy. And then I tried a tennis ball, and she was crazy about it. So I started playing with her, having fun with her, just creating motivation, creating drive to go after that ball. And you basically have to do the same. When I got NIFS, she's a Springer Spaniel. So I basically did the same. Create lots of drives, lots of craziness with the tennis ball. And once we have that, once we have a dog that really likes this toy, have a dog that really wants to have this toy in her mouth or play with it, we start the search of that toy. So we basically we want the dogs to search for that toy. It's not because at the beginning of the play, we just like throw the toy. They can see it, they can chase it, they can grab it, they can do anything with it. But in the second step, we want the dog to find that toy. So if we do that in the second step, we make sure that this dog will like to search for that toy. So we don't expect anything from the dog. We just want the dog to find the toy. As soon as they find the toy, they can grab it, they can come back with that, and then we can hide it again. So when the dog have fun with the searching part, we start the indication of a toy. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same toy for the whole process. You will see later what I mean. And then when the indication is good in all contexts and all environments, then we start the search of the toy, and we blend the indication. So basically that means that we want the dog to search a certain target, and then when they find it, instead of grabbing it, we want the dog to make the indication. But as we have taught the dog in the previous step, so the dog when search, then automatically the dog will indicate. And then when the search of that toy or object is good and the indication is good, then is when we start the imprinting. We will see why we do it that way. And then when the imprinting is good, I mean the imprinting with a new target odor, it can be explosive, it can be cocaine, it can be money, it can be an essential oil, it can be anything. And then when this imprinting is good, when we know that the dog knows what this new odor means, which will mean a reward, a tennis ball or whatever, and the dog likes, then we start the search on this new target odor. We make things at the beginning really easy, and then we make it more complicated until we have a dog that is really experienced with this new odor. So those are so this is the first steps. This is when I got NIFS, the Springer Spaniel. This is Tuna. She already knew how to search. Was, I think, pretty good at that time, and I basically used her to create more drive for the puppy, because I saw that if she had Duna next to her, she would just like I would create a little competition. I make sure that they wouldn't fight for that toy. So if one grabs it, it's good. Well, basically here I'm using 2 toys. So I grab Duna, I throw one ball, and when NIFS gets the ball, then I let Duna. I throw the other ball, and I let Duna go. And then I do it the other way around. So she brings back the ball. You can see she wants me to throw the ball again. I grab Duna, I let her go after it, and then I throw the other ball so Duna can get it. So I create a little bit of competition here. Now you already see that they really like playing with as a tool of training the dog. And here basically I didn't expect anything from them. They were just chasing the ball, picking it up, and then bringing it back to me. And you see the concentration. You see that they really want to play with that toy, and they would play for like hours. So this video is a bit too long, but you can see what I mean. So here it's what I wanted to do with this other video is just I wanted them to search for this tennis ball. So I basically had them with me. I threw two balls, and they had to search for them. It wasn't difficult because I could see more or less where they would land it, but I just wanted to create motivation, drive, and make it not too difficult for them. Sorry about the music, but I had to get it from my Instagram account, and there is music underneath. But you can see, I just want to show you the drive that they have and the motivation. So I was just basically anything to get this ball. So you can use this ball to make them do whatever you want them to do. Using a toy instead of the target or that they are going to be searching in the future is good, because if they have a bad experience, so you will see it here later, then they will have a bad experience with the toy or something that is not very important. Well, the toy is very important, but it's better that they have a bad experience with the toy, that we can maybe change it, than for example, if they search for I don't know, cocaine, and they have a bad experience when they are searching with this scent. So here it was the first day of a Labrador, and so the drive was good. The dog liked this rubber ball. And we just wanted to see if the dog would be scared of getting inside cars, because the dog in the future will be needed to get inside the car. So we basically threw the ball inside the van, and we could see the drive, we could see the motivation, we could see if the dog was a bit scared of getting in. And you will see just here. So Joaquin, my workmate, helped me a little bit having the ball. The handle just let the dog go. The dog didn't have any problem getting inside. He was, yeah, I think I like how he moves. The motivation is good. It's not really good, but you can see that he's liking the process. So basically, if we use a toy, we can see how the dog will be searching in the future. So we can have an idea. So this is a really important part, is when we start the indication training. This is when things get a little bit complicated, because from now dogs just like had fun. We didn't expect anything from them. It's like a play and search for a ball, which is very easy for a dog to find a toy, because it smells. If they can find just a really tiny piece of anything, it's finding a toy. It's not complicated for them. But here is when things get a little bit complicated, is when we start the indication training. And if us as a handlers don't do a good job, the dogs can get really frustrated and then stop working, because it can sometimes, if we don't do it the right way, and it can be boring as well. And those are 10 basic steps to train indication. It doesn't mean that it's 1 and then 2 and then 3. So between step 1 and step 2, there are many sub steps. But yeah, we basically don't have time. I don't have time to show you all the steps to get there, but you can have an idea. So first of all, we need to think about the indication we want the dog to have. I like personally, I like a sit and a stare, because I think they have to just like do two behaviors, so they have to think a little bit more. It's easy for the handlers to see rather than just standing still, because for example, if it's dark or if we are too far away, we might think that the dog is indicating, but it's just like checking on something. So the indication is much clear. But we can choose anything we want. So for a sit and a stare, the first step is we make the dog, we make the toy move with our hand. Then we want the dog to follow our hand, and then we stop the hand at the nose height, so it's easy for the dog to stop. And then we need the dog to sit. Once the dog sits, we throw the ball. So what I did is just stop the ball at nose high. Nix sat down and stared on that toy, and as soon as she did it, I threw the toy. The next step is go present the toy lower and lower and lower, so the dog gets used to indicate on any level. Because if we only train the dog to indicate at the nose height, when the target is on the floor, maybe the dog won't it's not going to know what to do. But between the first step and the second step, there are many other steps. Here, I put the ball on the floor without taking away my hand, because I want to make sure the dog is not going to grab the toy. And then as soon as the dog sits and stares, then I throw the ball. The next step will be taking the hand away, because at some point we won't be able to stay in front of the toy to prevent the dog to grabbing the toy. So we need to start taking the hand away little by little. So here you will see that I'm just taking my hand away just like a few inches. You see, soon the dog makes the same behavior. I throw the ball, and the next step will be just like staying farther away. So here is like again the step 3 to 4 is not like this. It has to be really small, tiny steps, because if we just go from 3 to 4, the dog is very likely that we'll try to get the toy. Here you will see I will kick the ball, because I need to be as quick as possible, because if we do many repetitions and I move a lot before throwing the ball, the dog will start seeing that as soon as I move, the ball moves. So the dog will start looking at me instead of the ball, expecting me to just throw the ball or kick it. So sits, and then really quickly I kick the ball. And then the next one, I'm just even farther away. You will see now. I am farther away, and as I said before, if we make lots of repetitions that the dog sees us kicking the ball or throwing the ball, the dog will how can I say that? We'll see that our movement predicts the ball moving. So we'll start looking at us. So what I do is just like as soon as I can, or as soon as I'm out of the picture, adding an external reinforcer. An external reinforcer is I like using exactly the same toy, but instead of kicking it, the dog sits and stares, and then I throw another toy. Yeah, and then this is when people might think it gets complicated, but it's the easiest thing in the world. So using a gong when the dog searches is really good, because a gong can be cut really small. They don't smell a lot. It's really easy to manipulate. If we want to cut a tennis ball to dog to search like a tiny piece of tennis ball. It's harder to cut the tennis ball, and all the green thing just can fall out and contaminate the whole area. But a red Kong, it's much easier to do this thing. So instead of instead of using a tennis ball as a target, I will use a piece of Kong. The dog is so used to me to putting a tennis ball on the floor and to my movement, so the dog already knows what to do. So I just like swap the tennis ball for another target. The dog will look at that toy, and as soon as the dog sits and stares, I will throw the tennis ball. So the dog won't care what is on the floor. The dog cares that if as soon as sits and stares, her favorite toy will come. You will see. Now I'm using a gun. She sits and stares, and I like using a condition reinforcer as well. Then this step was just like sending her from the distance. So instead of like and so I will grab her and send her to the toy. So I am not close to the toy anymore to prevent the dog to grab the toy. But you saw that the drive wasn't very good. It was just like the dog was just going really slowly, because dog knows that the target is not moving, so she can go as slow as she wants. Again, you see, she's not slow, but I don't really like the drive. So what I did here is, instead of putting the Kong on the floor, I would just grab her and throw the Kong. So she saw me throwing the Kong, and she was just like wanting to go after it, and when she pulled the most, I would just let her go. And you see the difference. Something really easy. She's not using her nose. She sees where the toy lands, but she goes after it. When she's right on top of it, she sits and stares, and then I use the marker and I reinforce. And then the next step is just do the same, throw the target or the piece of Kong, but throwing it somewhere where the dog cannot see it from where I send her. So she can see me throwing the toy. She can see that it's somewhere in front of her, but she doesn't really know where it is. So she needs to go there. She cannot see it, and you will see that then they start using their nose. But here, you know, if you can see it, because the letters get in the way. It's like, oh, there is it, and then she starts using the nose. Just like 3 or 4 as sniff, but that's good enough, because if we expect them to do like lots of sniffing, and then they might get frustrated, they might forget about what they are doing, and as soon as they see it, they will grab it. Another reason I like not using a Kong from the beginning is that so they get used to grab a tennis ball. They really like the tennis ball because it's a toy. But when I swap it for a piece of Kong, they've never played with a Kong before. So if they make a mistake and they grab it, it's just like something as small, and they have never played with it. It's like maybe they grab it and they say, "Oh, that's not worth it. Yeah, I better just sit down and stare, and then my owner will or the handler will throw me what I really like." Because if we use a Kong as a toy, we have to do many repetitions with the dog, that allowing the dog to grab it. So though maybe in this step the dog is maybe not. It's like it's really difficult for the dogs to make the decision to sit and stare if we have been allowing them to grab that toy in the previous steps. And here, this is a step that is many times really difficult depending of the dog. So if you see that you send the dog away and the dog always picks up the toy, you can use a helper. I used my daughter here, and it's just like I just wanted her to step on that ball, so she will see that the tennis ball is not in a free access place. So she sits, stairs, and then I throw the ball. Here I could use a condition reinforcer as well, but I just prefer to use this. And then you see that every time I ask my daughter to stay to stay farther away from the ball. So here she's stepping on it. Then the next step, I just ask her not to step on that ball, but still be there in case she will want to grab it. And I have the lead as well. And she's farther away. And then we will try another height. So here, if she wants to pick it up, I will just prevent it with a lid. So this is a tip that you can use if we have problems with having the external reinforcer or sending the dog from like far away from the target. So here is when things start to work as well, or you can see that the dog is start sniffing here. It was like about 4 years ago when I started training Duna, and I wasn't expecting her to use her nose yet because I was using like a half of a cone, and I thought that what she saw she saw me when I was placing the toy. And what I wanted to do is just like go forward, sit and step, but she didn't really know where it was, and you will see that she did like 2 or 3 sniffs before seeing the cone and doing the indication. Yes, and she sniffs here a little bit under the table. She sees the cone, and here she's not sitting. So I like the dogs. Some people will have just like call the dog back and reset because they want the dog to just like to sit really quickly. But I like the dogs to think a little bit. So she was standing still. I didn't say anything, and she thought, what's going on? And then she made the decision to sit and stare. Here I made a mistake. She's still standing. Then she moves a little bit and then she sits. And my mistake was that I didn't reinforce straight away. I waited 1 or 2 seconds. So when this happens, when you see the dog is just like having a little bit of trouble, as soon as the dog displays the behavior that you want, I will just recommend to reinforce straight away. So after the dog after the dog learns to go forward and sit and stare or make the indication to a piece of target, can be a toy, a piece of cone, can be anything, but still is not the target order that we're going to get paid in the future. So once the indication is good, is when we start training the dog to search and indicate when finds it. So here is you have Duna searching for a small piece of cone. Obviously, you cannot go from the previous step to here. You have to just do a small searches in between. This is not a difficult search, but I was using a tiny piece of cone. And you see that when she indicates, I wait a little bit, and I'm going to explain why I like that in the next slide. So she sits on the stairs, and I wait a little bit. And then I click and reinforce, and you can see that she's pretty happy about it. And here you see that she's happy to jump on things. She's not well, there are not many things to be scared of here, but she's quite happy searching. I like the drive. She's not too crazy, because some dogs will go really crazy, and they go that crazy that they are not capable of finding anything, because they are just like, they cannot think about anything. And they don't concentrate, but she's and her determination is good as well. She's just like, it's I know it's here, but I cannot really find it, but she keeps trying without giving up. And here she indicates. I wait a little bit. You see her tell that she's really happy about it, and then I reinforce. So how do we add duration on a target? Because for some people it's very difficult, but it's if we use keep going signals, hope you don't see this what I'm saying here. To add duration on any behavior, it's really good to use a keep going signal. Some people call it bridges. I think there is a difference between it, and I like to call it keep going signal. I was trying to find a definition, and the best one I found, it was one from Bob Bailey, and I think it was I think I'm not really good with theory and stuff like that, but I think he was one of the first that started using this, or the one who invented it. I'm not really sure about it. So a keep going signal is an auditory or visual signal. You can use touch as well, that indicates to the learner that if she or he continues the behavior or chain of behaviors, that the reinforcement will come. So basically, we give the dog information that what he's doing is right. For example, if we want the dog to sit and stare during like 5 seconds, and the dog sits and stares, and nothing happens, the dog might start getting frustrated, like what's going on, why nothing is happening. But if we make a signal, like I really like using a whistle, or like making a little bit of pressure on the collar, or using touch, or walking. We can use anything, but the dog associates this sound, this movement, this touch with the reinforcer will come. You just basically give the learner information that what he's doing is the right thing. So here's what I do it, how I do it. Here is like we have like 4 or 5 steps, and again, in between these steps we have to do lots of repetitions and lots of steps, like adding time, adding other keep going signals. Is like it takes time, more time than just like 2 minutes. So basically here she was searching, she sits and stares, and I was making pressure on the lid, just like 1 second. She sits and stares, I make a little bit of pressure, and then I reinforce. If I do this with enough repetitions, she will start knowing that this pulling on the lid predicts the reinforcer. So instead of being, it can be seen as a distraction, but it's not a distraction. It's just like it's helping the dog to understand much better. Sits and stares, and I start making pressure on it, and then I reinforce. Just 2 seconds. So between the first step and this step, we add time and time and time until we can, like, maybe we have the dog waiting for 10 seconds. When the dog knows that the pressure on the lid predicts reinforcement, then we can start adding another keep going signal. Here I think I am walking while I'm pulling on the lid. So if I walk and I pull on the lid at the same time as I'm pulling on the lid, and the lid is like the information that the reinforcer will come, the dog doesn't care if I'm walking, because she knows that as soon as long as I'm pulling the lid, the reinforcer will come. She won't get distracted. So she sits, she stops sniffing, with pressure, no, and I whistle. So here you saw that she doesn't care about the sound because I was pulling on the lid. No, I can this backwards a little bit. So I mix. What I want to do is introducing another keep going signal using a keep going signal, pulling on the lid and whistling. So here the next step would be, instead of this, it would be just maybe a stop. Do this like for like 6-10 repetitions until the dog knows that whistling is another keep going, is another type of information. So what I will do the next step is stop pulling on the lead and just whistling. So I don't need to use to keep going signals. I just need to use one, but to introduce one keep going signal is really good using the one that using another keep going signal that the dog already knows. Yeah, I think I'm using walking. So I pull on a lead while I walk. So this will allow me to maybe if I'm far away, the dog indicates and I am far away, this will allow me to go towards the dog without the dog moving, without thinking, oh my God, what is going to happen? Are you going to reinforce me? Are you going to not to reinforce me? So the dog knows that if I walk, if I go towards her, she will be reinforced. Here I'm really far away, and then she's off lead. And as she knows that if I go towards her, I will reinforce her. She doesn't move. I can move. I can put the lead on, maybe if it's in a dangerous place, and then I can reinforce while she's on a lead. When I'm teaching, I don't know if the way I'm explaining that is not really good. I hope you understand, but people don't really use it, and this is one of the best tips I've learned. And it has been really easy for me to teach the dogs, such like adding time to any behavior. Many people don't like adding time to an indication, or they, not that they don't like it, but they don't understand why we want to do it, or so people understand it, but they think that it's not necessary. I personally think that it's necessary because there are a few good reasons why to use it. And I think it's the longer we train to focus on source, the more time we have to make a decision. Maybe the dog is far away and the dog sits on a stairs, or maybe he's sitting, or maybe it was standing still, and we're far away. We are not sure if it's checking on something or is it indicating, and it's like maybe we can go like a few steps towards the dog, and we see that it's indicating, and we can reinforce. If we don't have this time to think, we have to make a decision really quickly, and sometimes we will reinforce by mistake, not by mistake, but thinking that we needed to reinforce and we shouldn't have reinforced, and sometimes we will miss it. So maybe the dog will indicate, but this dog has a really quick indication, and we don't have the time to reinforce because maybe we've been too slow, or maybe we've been thinking is dog indicating or not, and this time goes away, and then we've missed the opportunity to reinforce. I think it's good as well because the dog focus and concentrate before the roll, because some dogs you can see that they know that the reinforcer will come because they are on the scent, on the target over, and they start getting more they stop being concentrated and start moving too quickly, expecting the reinforcer to come. So I think this is a good way to just like, okay, I can smell the target odor, I can go closer to it, I can sit on a stair, I can wait patiently, and then the owner will reinforce me. And it can be seen by anyone, because sometimes you see the handler is reinforcing the dog, but you don't see any change of behavior on a dog that you are seeing, because it's not your dog. But for example, in some competitions, the judge needs to see that the dog is indicating. It's not enough that the handler says that the dog has found it. The judge needs to be sure that the judge needs to see that the dog is making a good and clear indication. And something that I forgot to put here is that if, for example, someone trains a dog and sells it to someone else, and this new handler doesn't have to be really good at timing. Obviously, if the handler is good at with the timing is perfect. But if someone sells a dog and tells to the handler, okay, the dog has a sit and a stare, or looks at you when she finds it. But you really need to be really quickly to reinforce it, because if you're not quick enough, then the dog will stop indicating and doing other behaviors, or will start scratching because it's getting frustrated. So if this new handler, you tell this new handler that the dog can sit and stare for 20 seconds, then it's really difficult that the handler will make a mistake, because has like all the time in the world to reinforce the dog. And here is another, well, not another reason, but an example. So here it was tuna, and you will see I put it on a slow motion that you will see. So here there is a head snap and shows some interest, and a handler can think, okay, might be here. She starts sitting down, okay, and the handler could maybe, if the dog will just do this as an indication and not going all the way down, maybe I would have clicked it, because I thought, okay, she showed some interest, she's starting an indication. Then I click and reinforce, but I waited, and then she makes the decision to start, well, just like to continue to sniff again. So I didn't say anything to her. It's not, sorry about that. You can see it a little bit better. So she starts sitting down, and then she says, no, it's not. He's not here. And she starts sniffing again. This may be like this. I'm sure it was a contaminated area. And then here she sits on stairs. I make sure that this is an indication, and here it was where the target is. So this is just an example of what I was talking a few seconds ago. And when we have a dog that is good searching on all contexts, on all environments, when we like the indication that the dog is making, is when we start the imprinting. Okay, I like using this sand wheel. It's I think it might be the cheapest sand wheel in the world. Maybe not the cheapest, but it's really cheap. Maybe it costs us 10 pounds or 10 euros. Those are just from brooms. This is containers where you put the salt, and this is a chair. So basically here I put inside this container, I put a small piece of gum, nothing else. What I wanted to do is just do not to learn that I wanted her to go around this, not check everything on the field. Just I wanted to just like stay on this sand wheel, and what I used to just like what she's used to find. So she sits on the stairs, and I reinforce quickly. We do a few repetitions until we make sure the dog understands the game. Let's say 10, 20, 5 repetitions. All dogs are different. So I don't really like using progression plans. I know we have to know the steps, but for some dogs will take 2 steps, and for dogs will take 20 steps. And a dog will need go to step 1 to 2 steps. To the second step will need more sub steps, and for another dog maybe is going to be able to go from step 1 to step 5. It depends. So we need to train the dog that we have in front of us, instead of just always reading and following the steps. Because if we do many repetitions with, for example, I don't know, a border collie will just maybe get bored and say, okay, that's too boring, I'm going to do something else. And if we do it with another dog, the dog will get maybe frustrated because the process is too quickly and cannot understand it. So once the dog knows the game is when we introduce the new target ODOUR. In this case, it was a battery of a mobile phone, because we were required to train Luna and other dogs to find mobile phones. So what we did is put a mobile phone with a piece of gum. So she smelled the piece of gum, but while she's smelling and sitting down, she is getting imprinted with a new target ODOUR. So we do repetitions and repetitions until we think that if we between these repetitions we make this Kong smaller and smaller, so it smells less, and she can feel the scent of the battery more and more. And then when we think that the dog is imprinted with battery, we use another container that we make sure it's not contaminated with a Kong. It's a new one, clean. We put the battery. We make the dog to search. The dog finds the battery, sits on the stairs. We do this for like 4 or 5 10 repetitions. The dog doesn't make any mistake, and then we just like stop using the sand wheel, and we put the batteries like anywhere in small places, in easy places, that the dog doesn't get frustrated with it, but just to make sure the dog is searching for what we want them to search. Here is what the containers that we use. This container maybe costs 50 cents. We clean it and then we can use it again. Here you can see the piece of Kong that it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and those are the mobile phones that the dogs were required to find, from these phones to smartphones. And those are the batteries we used. We use these ones and bigger batteries, all kind of batteries and all kinds of mobile phones. And then when we have done this sand wheel, that the dog is searching for these mobile phones or batteries, and we've trained in small places. We train in not real situations, because this is a house, but like to train them to be in this kind of environments. So she obviously inside a cell they could just like, well, obviously not, but she wanted to jump on. So I had to allow her to jump on sofas, on beds, and just like go under and on top of anything she needed to be. So you see she's quite happy. The drive is good. But like not a lot. You need a dog that can, the sniffing frequency is really high, lots of energy, because you have a slow dog in between the sniffs can miss you see that, you'll see here that she's picking up on the scent and she goes inside the room. She helps herself to open the box, and without touching the mobile phone, she indicates. You see, it was a smartphone. And from here, just like training until we go to the prison. We do more training inside in the prison. And then is the day when the first they called us for the first intervention, which was very successful, because Duna found within maybe 4 minutes in a big room, she found a smartphone where people from the prison was searching the day before for about 2 or 3 hours, 8 people, and they couldn't find anything. And then within 3 minutes she could find a mobile phone. So they were really happy about it, and then they kept calling us. And for example, for the first 10 interventions, we found 7 phones. So the rate of success, it was pretty high. This is my colleague who helped me to train Duna, and I helped him to train his dog. And here we have Nix, that she's scared of like lots of new environments, and she wasn't good for the job. So why? Because some people will still ask why we use a toy and we won't use the real target over. And these are some of the reasons, which are, if we use a tennis ball or a toy, the dog has the desire to work for that toy. So when the dog will do anything, we won't need to associate anything, because it's just like it's a toy. The dog already likes it, so we don't have to do any association. So we just use the toy as a tool to make the dogs do what we want them to do. It's easy to manipulate, so it's just like we can put it anywhere. We can grab it. We can do anything with that, we don't have to be as careful as if we're using like I don't know, cocaine or marijuana or drugs or explosives. We just like we can manipulate the toy as much as we want and not being careful at all. It's easy to store it, so we don't have to, we can just like put it anywhere. It's just like we have to use a container and that's it. That's it. It's easy to hide because we can make it smaller and small as we can. Gongs are really easy to cut when they are small and they don't just fall apart. They are red and dogs don't see very well and read very well, so we make sure they don't use their eyes, so they use their nose straight away. Doesn't smell a lot. Kongs smell quite a lot when they're like the whole Kong smells quite a lot for a dog, but if we just like keep cutting and cutting, it's like they smell just like well, really the smell is really low. It's legal, so we don't have any problem just covering or having pieces of Kong in our can. We don't have, in our car. We don't have to give an explanation if we get stopped by the police and they ask us why we have drugs or explosive in our car. It's like have a toy and we won't be asked for it. When I say Kong, I mean any type of toy. We can use as a target a rubber ball. We used to use these balls called Chuck It, which are orange. They smell like they don't smell like a Kong, but they are made from rubber, and we can use any type of toy, and it doesn't compromise the target over. So we can be the best trainers in the world, but sometimes we will make a mistake. The dog sometimes will make a mistake, and the dog can get frustrated. But the dog will get frustrated with a toy. Won't get if gets frustrated with a toy and starts playing with a toy, which is unlikely. We can use another toy. If the dog gets frustrated with trying to find marijuana or cocaine or whatever, if the dog gets frustrated, then we'll start not liking to search. So we use that toy, and when we make sure the dog knows how to search and knows how to indicate, we start the imprinting, and the imprinting process is really easy. And then we start the search and the indication on this new target odor. And as the dog knows 100% how to do it, it's like it only takes a week, and the frustration goes down to a minimum because the dog already knows how to do it and have all the time the dog have fun with finding this new target odor. This is something that I like to show. But it's about motivation. I will let you read it because my pronunciation is not going to be very good. So I'll give you 30 seconds to read it. So basically means that so we can have the best dog in the world, but if the dog is not motivated enough to find what we want them to find, is not going to be as good as a dog that maybe their nose is not going to be as good, but if the motivation is good enough, this dog is going to be much better than a dog that is not motivated to find the target overall. So we need to make sure the dog is motivated. We make at the beginning, because people tend to rush a lot, tend to want to start for the indication, and they don't work with the motivation. They don't work with the play, and the dog is like with the handlers try to do like 4 or 5 repetitions with the indication. The dog doesn't really know what to do, gets bored, and the training is over. So it's like just take 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 month of just like playing with the dog, having fun with the dog, and when the dog likes how to play, when you have both of you fun with this toy, then is when we need to start the training, not before. And here it ends my presentation. I hope you have liked it. But I like to end it with this. It's something that I've tried like 4 years ago when I started training Duna, and I really liked it because it's something that's lots of the times, or maybe sometimes I don't even start learning something because I think I'm not good enough. But this helped me a lot because it says that like everything it's hard at the beginning, but if it becomes a habit, then it's much easier for us to keep training. Then the habit must become easy, saying that if we keep doing and training and training and training, then it gets easier and easier and easier for the dog and for us. Obviously, if we train well, if we keep making the same mistakes, we will get frustrated, we won't go forward, and the dog will get frustrated and stop liking the process. And if things become easy, then everything becomes beautiful because it's easy for the dog, it's easy for the handler. It's when we can add criteria and making things much more beautiful. So here you have my presentation. I hope you have liked it. Here you have my social accounts, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at SenDogs, and then Sens on Gran Canaria as well is where I work as well. Okay, I hope you have liked it, and hope I will see you soon somewhere. Okay, bye. Thank you.